Hello everyone, good morning. In here, I will explain and describe about the flowchart above, flowchart of the purchase to payment process. Okay, the first step, the buyer will choose the goods they want to buy in the company catalog. The second step in the purchasing process is to understand the needs of those who need the goods and service. The party of department in need will submit a request for an order or purchase with a written document, such as a purchase requisition form that has been approved by the head of the department or the relevant manager. The purchase request form must clearly state the desired items such as material specification, desired quantity, required and suggested supplier. The next step is to create a purchase order, which is ordered through a supplier. Purchase order is basically a document that is sent to the supplier to supply the required good or service. In general, a purchase order document or letter consists of 6 copies. Each copy is addressed to the supplier, the requestor, the warehouse officer, the accounting department, the inspection department, and one more copy for the purchasing department itself as an archive. Things to consider in choosing a supplier. Price is not the only consideration in getting the right supplier, because in addition to price, several important points must be considered, such as the ability to provide the required quantity, the quality of the product required, the financial capability of the supplier company, and so on. If all the points mentioned are the same, then price is the deciding factor in the selection of supplier. After the PO is processed by the supplier, there is a receipt of goods or service in accordance with the order submitted in the PO. The spec of receiving goods or service is in the form of using a receipt of goods to the customer by the supplier and acknowledging the good service are entered into the customer books. Then, after the order is received by the customer, the seller will provide an invoice to the customer. Invoice is a document made by the seller and addressed to the buyer for the purpose of requesting payment for a purchase. This document is used as a means of collecting payment by the seller to the buyer according to the agreement agreed in the purchase order or purchase order. Next, do a three-way watch, which means the process of matching the contents of the invoice, purchase order, and shipping document for the goods the company purchased. This process is important to ensure that the invoice you receive matches the purchase order met. And finally, is the payment of account payable by the customer to the seller in accordance with the previously received invoice. Payment of trade payable can use the cash or current account method. I think that's all I can explain. Thank you for your attention.